Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, March 3rd. It is 6:26 right now. We got market opening up shortly in about 4 minutes. So I'm getting more and more information each day regarding the daily entry. So I'm making a few change, not a lot of changes, but a few changes to improve a little bit. One of the things that I'm going to be doing is instead of getting in 20 minutes or sorry, 20 points away from entry, I'm going to get in at the whole numbers now, like about the 100 point or the 50 point. Um, I've been using, yeah, I've been using Messi's back test to kind of help with that. So I've got some pretty good statistics over here. Basically, I've kind of changed it a little bit. So, well, I didn't really change it much. I just kind of added filters to it. So I'm going to be getting in at the nearest 100. And then I think I'm only going to look for entries until 8:30 because it makes a big difference between 8:30 and 10 o'clock. And then still using the loss limit, of course. Let me see what happens if I take the loss limit off. It actually, let me see, I think it's worse a little bit. Yeah, by 2%. So I'm gonna keep playing around with it. I'm gonna make updates and make filters and stuff like that, just to improve things a little more. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a work in progress, of course, and we're gonna try to figure out what the best settings are for the strategy. So just want to give you guys a heads up. I mean, I'll be discussing it when the entry actually comes around, but just wanted to give you guys, a little heads up there. So, okay, we got market opening up shortly, guys. Good morning. It looks like people are still making their way in. Today is Tuesday, March 3rd, 6:28 right now. Market's gonna open up in about 2 minutes. If you guys are looking to take the breakout for today is looking like it might be a sell if this candle closes with the sell signal. If it doesn't, it's probably gonna be a buy. We have a bunch of liquidity sitting up here, so buys might be better. I don't know. We'll see what happens in a few, but we'll know like in about a minute. So right now, looking at the overall trend, it's currently bearish on the lower time frames and bearish on the higher time frames. You can see prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. Um, Price is kind of coming down a little bit. I maybe see price coming down to the 47,000 price point. I don't know exactly if that's going to be the case. I mean, obviously it might be, might not be. But that's kind of like the hold number where price may aim for if it does continue to drop lower. Let me see what the fundamentals are kind of looking like today. So for the fundamentals, it is it's a little mixed. Yeah, the AI didn't really give a clear direction, but it's a little mixed. Anyways, if you guys are looking to take the breakout for today is looking like it's going to be a buy because we didn't get a sell signal there. So we'll see what happens here. It looks a little messy with regard to the fundamentals because of all the news happening, specifically because of the war updates and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens here when market opens up. So market's gonna open up shortly in about 10 seconds. And we'll see what happens here. There we go. Market is now open. Price is pushed up. If you guys look to take the breakout right there, I think it already pushed up a certain amount. Yeah, so pushed up 60 points already if you're going for the 60-point push. If you're going for the 80-point push, 80 points is pushing up as well. There you go, full TP on the 80 points. So full TP on the breakout right there if you guys decided to take it. Again, it was a buy here because we had a buy signal. No sell signal came up. So there goes the breakout right there. Breakout's been on a streak this week so far, back-to-back wins for today and yesterday. And let's see who's here so far. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Lila. Morning, Maria. Morning, Karen. Morning, Ben. Morning, everybody. Yeah, looks like everybody's here for the most part. It's today, Tuesday. I don't think Masij is here today. I remember he has class on Tuesday, so I don't think he's here. Um, so we'll kind of see what happens when price continues to move along. A seizure will probably pop in a little later just to kind of show, what the bot has done for the day. But yeah, he's back. He's in school, so I don't think he's gonna show up to the session today, which is fine. Um, Jonathan said I used to like the breakout, but it's too volatile for me. Yeah, it's a little too crazy. That's why I don't like it either because of the slippage. If there wasn't slippage, I would be, I'd be more inclined to take the breakout, but there's just way too much slippage, so I can't really get into it if I'm trading the hedge accounts. I could trade the breakout with prop accounts because I don't care if, I hit slippage and I blow the account or whatever, but with the hedge fund clients, it's just too risky for me to be trading the breakout because if there's slippage, it can mean a huge, huge difference compared to um what it wouldn't if I wasn't trading live accounts because the execution is different, slippage is different, everything's different when you're in a live account versus a prop account. Prop accounts are on a simulated market, so it's easier to get the fills. So, anyways, guys, market is open. We're kind of pushing around right now so far. These are not the current, or actually, these are the current algo entries. I'm gonna go and mark up some structure here so that we can kind of see where price is moving around to. So we got some structure up here. A lot of updates with the war. I have a ChatGPT agent that just updates me on it. Just on like the verified news sources. I mean, the war is not going anywhere, so market will remain to stay volatile to some extent. It's only really going to have big spikes if like Trump says something, though. It's not. I mean, there's going to be stuff going on all throughout the week. Other news for today is, let's see. We just have the Fed speaking later at 6:55. So we got the Fed speaking today. We got Fed Williams at 6:55, Fed Kashkari at 8:55, and then we have RCM, TIPP, Economic Optimism at 7:10, which is low impact. So we don't really have any news today. If you guys see some crazy movement in the market, it's probably going to be based off breaking news related to the war. But other than that, we don't really see too much here. Like I said, if price drops any lower, target area for this is probably going to be the 75,000 price point. So it's a long way down, so it's not going to happen immediately. But I think if price does continue to drop lower, that's like the whole number to maybe look out for if you are looking for something like that. So nothing here right now. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just nothing much here right now at the moment. Here's a 10 minute. So I'll just use this here as my chart basically for the all right, we do have a pending signal right there on the 10 minute. So if this here comes up, I'll be looking to get into my entry here for a buy. We got about 5 minutes left on it though, so it's got some time. If I do get in though, it's gonna be it'll basically be probably if it closes up here, I'll probably get in right here around the 50. If it pushes like way up there, I'll probably get in lower right here at the 48,000. Why does the number look different here? Oh, because we're back into the 48s. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, I thought we were closer to the 47s, but we're actually closer to the 48s. Price is coming back down right here as we speak. So with that being the case, like I said, the market's bearish. So we just had this bullish push here on open, but the overall direction is still bearish. All right. This thing's getting a little laggy. For whatever reason, Zoom is the one that's really lagging my computer. I need to figure out a way to Fix this lag. Maybe it's just time for a new computer. Still debating between getting another Mac. I'm looking at either a Mac Studio or I'm looking at a PC. I don't know what to get. Uh, I'm probably leaning towards Mac though, because I do everything on the Mac. So, like I said earlier, guys, the criteria that I kind of changed up a little bit earlier with regard to the daily entry is I'm probably gonna cut off my entry around 8:30, and I'm gonna get in at the 100. So I'll be looking for opportunity right here. It looks like we might get the entry here. Um, yeah, again, it just kind of depends on where this closes, and it needs to close with that buy signal. So if it closes up here, then I'm probably gonna get in at the 100 right here, the 48,100. If it pushes like super high and it's like right here at the 200 mark, then I'll get in at the 50. Typically, I want to get in at the whole 100 because, and the reason why I'm doing that is because the statistics over here show that it the profitability is better with that. I mean, this thing is just flipping back and forth right now. So let me go over here real quick, and then I will just change this. So if this becomes the entry, I just kind of want to see what the numbers are like. If we do get the entry, I want to see how long it typically takes for the entry to hit. We got 3 minutes though, so not going to be getting in just yet. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to close with the buy signal. You can see it keeps pushing up and down. We're obviously in a chop right now. I mean, it's more of a directional chop, but it is still chopping up. So we only had one entry come up so far, which is the breakout. Um, Other than that, it's not really much else at the moment. Might get a break and retest right here off the structure and off the pivot as price continues to climb up higher. But just looking over here at the 10-minute, it does not look like we're going to get that 10-minute candle close. We got 2 minutes left on this. I think if this does close, price needs to close above here. So above the 150. I mean, who knows? At the last second, this thing can just spike up, right? So I'll be looking for my possible entry around here. It's going to be around 48, 48 one something. I'm going to put this over here on my ticket right now, just in case. All right. So we got 30 seconds left on this candle right here. Again, I don't think the buy signal is going to close. If it doesn't, we'll be waiting for the next one. Oh, and one other thing too that I was looking at from my data is that if we get an opposite momentum while the trade is active, I'm just going to close out for a partial profit. That's one thing that I started to notice too, because I came across a month where it was like connection loss, of course. I came across a month in August of last year where it was just straight losses for the month, and I was like, okay, how do I minimize my losses on this month? And it was really just like pulling out when the trades were kind of chopping up. So, and we'll cross that bridge when you get to it. Like once I see it on the chart, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. But I can't really show you guys examples right now, obviously. So looking at this so far, I don't really care about the percentages for this specifically because I'm not getting in with this specific strategy. I just wanted to see how long the entries would typically last for. And looking at this so far, I mean, it looks like these entries typically, if I get in around 640, these trades will typically last for about 3 minutes, actually. The volatility is so extreme that it doesn't really last very long. So I don't care about these numbers right here because we're not trading in that direction. I'm just curious to see how long it takes for the trade to actually push and hit target or hit stop loss in a sense. So this obviously is not the time that I'd be getting in from. I also want to see if this is correct. Let me make sure. So yeah, this is correct because the entry would happen. No, this isn't right. This would be the close at 640. So it'd be the candle before. Try this real quick. 650. So okay, so it's gonna have to be the candle before it. So if I'm trying to get at 650, I gotta put 840 there. All right, that makes sense. Yeah, but again, I don't care about the numbers. I'm just using this to identify how long these trades will typically last for. So there's no entry here yet so far. We're looking for a buy. So we're looking for price to correct back up for the 10-minute daily entry. We don't have that yet. I'll go back over here. It looks like price again, like I said earlier, price is just chopping up. There's not really too much to work with here. Price is just chopping up between these structures. I'll draw some more structure here as price continues to bounce around. I mean, the first algo entry is at 657. We're not there yet, but it is coming up. We have we don't really have any reversal patterns right now. We have a higher high with a green candle. If this was with a red candle, this would be a nice reversal to the downside because we have a high with the red candle. We had a engulfing right here and price just continued to drop right back down. But realistically, if you look at current price right now, it's pretty much just chopping up. It's chopping up both ways. So there's nothing to take here at the moment. Um, if I see something, I'll let you guys know. But obviously, you can see here, this is where the main crux of the movement's happening, right? It's right down the middle. A little fake out to the upside, push back down. There we go. I mean, the overall bias for today's bearish, so I'm not surprised. Not really surprised with that. Yeah, I'll keep watching here. Again, I'm looking for that daily entry. I'm trying to figure out how to fix this on the computer. All right, I'm doing some stuff over here behind the scenes right now, guys. There's no entries available, so you guys are not missing out on anything. If you guys are looking to take an MPS, there's a possible MPS that may set up. You need to look for a green candle here, though. So you have a higher high, you have a sell signal here. You're going to look for price to retrace up and continue down lower. This is not going to be an MPS PA because we have a lower low right here. But if you're looking for regular MPS, just look for a green candle followed by a red candle. So that's the only thing really coming up right now. There's not really much else. There's basically a high-low scalp that happened right here as well if anybody decided to jump into that, but it was at the session, so obviously it's a red flag. Mhm. All right, guys, if you're looking to take the MPS, this is starting to set up for an MPS V2 right here. Only problem that I can see is that it's currently touching the session, so that's kind of a red flag, but it does have an engulfing V1 candle right there. So this is a pretty nice reversal pattern to the downside. If you guys want to take it at your own risk. I do think it's a little tricky for one, the candle's starting to look pretty big, and then it's touching the session. So it's a couple things to be concerned about if you guys are looking to get into the trade. Again, I'm looking for my daily entry. It's going to be for a buy, so I'm not really going to look at the market until it starts to flip back up, right? Might take a while, like it might happen over the next hour or so, but for these 1 minute entries, there's an MPS V2 setting up right there. Not going to be in it, but if you guys do want to get in it, um, go for it. So it's currently running right now, coming down a little bit. All right, guys. So we got the MPS currently running right now. You guys are in it. It's currently running in profit, almost at its target right there for 60 points. And there you go, full TP on the MPS if you guys decided to jump into that. About two entries came up so far. Like I said, we had the breakout right here, and then we had the MPS V2 right there. There was another possible high-low scalp that happened right here. Not one that I would personally get into, but it was a high-low scalp setup, if that was something that you guys are looking for. So anyways, prices continue to drop lower from here. And we'll see if there's any opportunities for you guys to get in. I mean, this was an MPS. The algo entry is coming up at 757, so it's coming up in a bit. A couple of things you want to look for is market regime, market structure. We're currently in expansion right now, so price is moving directional. We're currently in expansion on the 1 minute. We're also in expansion on the maybe on the 10 minute here. Yeah, basically it's an expansion. Price is like dropping down pretty heavily. We don't have any entries coming up anytime soon, so it's got us to tight. If I don't get an entry here for my daily, then it's no entry, but let's see. I mean, this thing can only dump so far, right? It dumps so far and then it starts to flip back up. So if you look over here, I'm just kind of putting the times into the algo. Around 7 o'clock, it actually starts to flip the other way, or it starts to move in the direction of momentum, of course. So we'll kind of see what happens here as price continues to move along. There's just nothing here for me to take right now at the moment. But if you guys are looking to take something, I'll keep identifying entries here, but there's just at this very moment nothing. So what I'm looking for is really just a push back up. I'd like price to maybe drop a little lower. This is ideally what I'd like to see. Price to dump a little lower and then pull back to open, right? Because if that's the case, then great. I'll ride this up for 150 points back to the opening price. So I actually want it to dump more. I don't want it to retrace up yet. I want it to actually dump even further. I want there to be like a violent drop or like a really excessive drop to the downside where price is really overextended. So right now it's currently down almost 400 points, or it was down 400 points. This just gives us more leeway and more space for us to climb back up, right? I mean, this could be the case where this might just climb up from where it's currently at. It might climb up, push past the open, and then push right back into this upper area over here. But ideally, I want it to drop as much as possible because the farther it drops, the better place we are to get prime entry, right? Because I'd love for it to come down here, maybe come down to this like 700 and then come all the way up right there. And then I have all this space to catch that 150 point push. Or I could probably even hold it even longer. I get in right here at the 700. I could even hold this up to like maybe, right back to open. So ideally, that's what I'm looking for. I mean, the next whole number is like right here, 800. It didn't even get down to that point. I mean, 800 could work too, honestly. Like, yeah, 800 could maybe work if it drops a little further. I mean, yeah, 700 might be like a long shot because if it does drop down to 700, that will be it's not that long, that much of a long shot. It's a 400, it's about a 500 point drop, which is normal. I mean, in this type of market with the war going on, 500 points isn't like a huge deal. If it drops to 800, then that's about a 400 point drop. So either one works for me. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So, I mean, we'll see what happens here. There is no buy signal yet on the 10 minutes, so I'll kind of just be watching for that. Like nothing really pushes me to the 10 minute until I get that buy signal. Once I get the buy signal, then I'll take a look. But right now, we obviously don't have that yet. So price is trying to flip back up right here. As you can see, the target area for it to reach is going to be this structure. It's basically just a fake out. So price pushed out right here. All right, so price is right here. It was ranging. Fake out, pull back into the range, and then same with down here, price faked out, and then pull back into the range again. So not really too much of a surprise there. I mean, that's kind of normal in a sense. Like it's just market structure, respecting market structure. I'll draw some structure down here so you guys can kind of see where that support level is. But again, we don't have a buy signal here yet on the 10 minute, so not really, not really looking for anything here specifically. If price does push back into this range, we're probably gonna get a buy signal. I can see that happening. So if it pushes up above this area right here past the London low, I think this is the London low. Yeah, this is the London low right here. So if it pushes above this London low, then I would expect it to probably provide a buy signal and maybe climb back up higher, which again is still fine because we're going for a 150 point move. So if it does push up above, it's gonna have all this liquidity to it's gonna have all this liquidity to grab, right? So it's not like we don't have targets to reach. Like if it pushes up here, I mean, that's perfectly fine. Price may push up, retrace to the 900. I'll get in from right there, and then I'll just ride it back to open, or vice versa. If it pushes up even higher, like already back to open, we might get a break and retest off structure right here, and then I'll get in at the 48,000 price, right? I'm just getting in at the whole numbers basically. I mean, that's the gist of it. I'm trying to get in on the whole numbers. So yeah, price may come over here, fake out around the opening price, and then we still got all this space right here. There's all of this liquidity here to grab at some point. So the buys are looking good. I mean, if we get that buy signal, the buys could be looking good. I mean, otherwise, price may just kind of sit right here for a bit. Like it created a range over here earlier, the initial range, and if it comes down here, that's fine too, whatever. Range here for a little bit. And I'm basically just looking for that flip back to the upside. Still, there's no 10-minute signal here, so I mean, we're really just kind of just waiting for this here to provide opportunity. But right now, we're currently in a choppy market regime. So at this point, I wouldn't really recommend getting into anything specific. I mean, if you guys are looking to take the break, the algo entry, there is an algo entry coming up right here at 657, but it is in chop. As you guys can see, it's very choppy. It's not really going anywhere. So we're currently in a choppy market regime at the moment. It's not exactly good conditions to be jumping into anything. So I'm gonna put that right there in the notes real quick for the algo. We're obviously in market chop. All right, next one's at 59. I think we're still going to be market chop around then as well. So I'm just going to put that there too. Or what about 39? There's one at 39 as well. So I'll be watching it, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be, or there's one at 6:30. So the initial entry was right here. I mean, obviously this is super choppy, so I wouldn't have gone into this one either, but that's choppy. There was one at 39 actually. Again, it was just in this chop. First one at 54. Anything above 54 is chop, 56 chop, 57 chop, 59 chop. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much here right now. Let me just update this. These times are actually not correct. These times are from a previous day, or this is from yeah, this is from when I first created the statistics, but or this pattern, this text box. But here are the entries. I just realized there was a lot of entries that came up already, but they're all in chop, so it wouldn't even make a difference. 54, 56. So yeah, you guys didn't really miss out on anything here because I wouldn't have taken those because of the market conditions. 659, 722. So really, I mean, if you're looking for entries here for the algo, you probably have to wait for the later ones. 622, 650, 722, and 756. So there's one at 630, obviously chop right there on open, 639, chop, 654, chop, 656, chop, 657, chop. It's just a super messy market. If you guys want to take these entries though, so there's one right here, 657 that just closed actually. It's currently running in profit, but again, it's in the chop. So when you take an entry like this, you kind of run the risk of getting stopped out before it reaches your target. I mean, it looks like it actually hit right there. So if you guys took that, that was a 657 candle. So it closed right here at 657. It like literally went straight to target and then it pushed right back up. So this is what I mean. Like you can get lucky and it can come down and hit your target, which it should. But the thing that you want to be concerned about is if it comes up, spikes you out, and then it comes back down, right? Because that's usually what happens in a choppy market like this. Like if you get in at the prime time, it'll come and hit your target. If you get in a second early, second late, it might spike you out before it reaches your target. So it's just a lot of chop right now, honestly. There's not really too much to work with, like within this whole boxed area. Here, let me go to the clean chart. I'll just draw this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Price starting to break up to the upside, but yeah, we're getting a lot of chop right here, basically, right? Super chop right here down below. We have a pending buy signal. Maybe it's coming up right now. We might get this buy signal here on this 10-minute, 7 o'clock. So on the close of the 7 o'clock, 710. Okay. So these are the statistics right now for this specific candle close. So if we get a buy signal right here and this closes, this is showing that this is what the parameters look like if there was to be an entry at that point. Um, I'm kind of curious to see. So let me check this out real quick. So if this here was to close at 840, um, why are the numbers so off? Oh, okay, never mind. That's my mistake. So 840. I just want to see if this here, if like for example, if this closes with the green candle, if the entry happens right there. So it actually happens. Um, this wouldn't be right. It'd have to be the opposite. Oh, okay, okay. Okay. I'm trying to figure out like what the statistics or what the criteria would be. This makes sense. I have to set it up with against. So for example, if the entry comes up right here at 710 or whatever it may be, we're looking for this here. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm looking for the flip, right? That's basically what I'm looking for. I'm looking for price here to flip the other way. We're currently bearish right now. I'm looking for it to swing back up. So as you guys can see, I drew up the structure here. It hasn't gone anywhere. Price is respecting the area pretty closely. I'm not going to draw structure here because we already have the London low. But you guys can see price is rejecting off the London low right here and the support level. You can see it on my clean chart. It's a little more easier to see. So it's pretty obvious right here where price is currently consolidating and ranging. So we're obviously in market chop right now, right? Um, Okay, so things to look for here is you want to look for a low with a green candle, which we just had right there. This could be a reversal pattern to the upside. Ideally, you want to see a lower low with a green candle, but a higher low with a green candle will work as well. This is the first start of a possible reversal to the upside. If this thing holds, if it doesn't hold and this candle pushes below it, then disregard that. The other thing you want to look for is a possible higher high or lower high with a red candle, right? Basically a high with the red candle, low with the green candle. That's going to be the initiation for a reversal. And then from there, you want to see follow-up. So you want to see basically a low with the green candle, and then you want to see an engulfing or a V1 push in this direction, and that'll initiate reversal to the upside. That's like the first part of the leg, right? Like the floor basically. If you can establish the floor, that's great. And then you can find the continuation. And then basically what you'd be looking for is for price to push back up. And then finally, you're going to look for a target price point for it to reach. There's a couple target price points right here, right? We have a higher high, which lines up with this London low. That's the first target where price can reach. The next target price can reach is going to be the opening price right there. The next target that price can reach is this higher high right here, right? Which is above this level, which is at the resistance. So there's a lot of targets here for price to push up. Again, we're not really predicting where price is going to go. We're kind of just reacting to how price is confirming. So right now, you guys can see this low, this higher low right here with that green candle has been invalidated, right? There's no longer a reversal confirmation here anymore. So at this point, this has been invalidated. There's no longer a confirmation that price, or not even a hint that price is going to reverse to the upside because it's no longer there. So you guys can see what I'm trying to you want to see a flow with the market. That's kind of what you want to see with your analysis. You don't want to really predict like, oh, if price bounces off here, it's going to push up, right? We don't really care for stuff like that. I want to see confluences to tell me, okay, I see a floor here, then I see price pushing up, and I see a continuation right here. And then once I have those continuations, do I get momentum anywhere? And then once you get that momentum, where's price likely to reach, right? Where's the target area? Sessions right here, London low, opening price right here, higher right there, resistance. So there's three different target areas right here that you can kind of aim for. So just keep that in mind, guys. You kind of want to flow with the market. That's kind of like where you start to get confidence in like your analysis. You don't want to be like, okay, I have a limit order just hanging out right here. I'm waiting for it to fill, right? You want to make sure that there's some sort of confluence that price is actually going to keep pushing in that direction. Because if you don't have confidence in that direction, it's kind of pointless. It's like, okay, yeah, you can predict price is going to push up, but like what is your probability, right? You want to have some sort of probability to trade in that direction. So like same with like my entries here, right? For the MPS, whenever you try to take an MPS, we're looking for the trend, we're looking for reversal patterns, we're looking for continuations, you're looking for any kind of hint that price is going to move in your direction, right? We have the pattern for price to continue moving there, but what confluences do you have that price is actually going to push in that direction? I think that's the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway from it, because in a lot of instances, people just kind of, or in general, like they just try to jump into positions, right? Like same with the algo entry. The algo entry is great on its own, but it can be even better if you have confluences with it, right? So for example, looking at this algo entry right here at 657, it's not a super great setup on its own, but you can see there was an engulfing in V1 right here, right? There was two reversal patterns. So you do have some sort of confluence that price was going to drop lower. It just wasn't like super strong because we didn't have a high with the red candle. If we had a high with the red candle, like for example right here, say this red candle was a high, then we had a V1, then we had an engulfing, then that entry right there for the algo would have been very good. But because price is in a chop, it's not directional. Plus, it didn't have very many confluences, just the reversals right there, the small ones. Um, if I was to grade that trade, I'd probably grade that trade like maybe a B minus or something like that, or even a C, because whenever market's in chop like this is like an automatic C for me. Like if the market regime is in a chop, that's already like a red flag to, okay, don't take anything here because our directional strategies are meant for a directional market, not necessarily for price to kind of chop up like how it is right now. Daniel also mentioned that the massive 7 o'clock candle and there was no news. Let me check real quick. 7 o'clock. Oh yeah, there's so is are you're talking about the 1 minute, right, Daniel? Let me measure it. Yeah, it's pretty big, 100 point candle right there. Yeah, pretty big spike. I mean, this was it looked like it faked out. It looked like it was trying to it grabbed liquidity up here where it tried to like shake out the buyers and then it came right back down to stop them out. So basically, I think what happened here is a lot of people had their stop losses hanging out around here, right? So just looking at this from a backwards perspective, if you see this lower high right here, let me just replay it just real quick so you guys can see. So like check this out. So for example, right here, this is where a lot of people place their stop loss, right? Around this lower high or even around the London low. So with price spiking up like that on that next candle, it looks like it pretty much just grabbed liquidity. It stopped everybody out and then it came right back down. Or it grabbed everyone's positions and then it came right back down to where it currently is now. This is why like I'm trying to move away from the 1 minute because there's just a lot of manipulation, especially with the mark with what's going on in the world. Um, you get hit with these 100 point candles and you're pretty much screwed in a sense because there's no coming back from that. So even with my 10-minute entry, I'm using a 75 point stop loss, right? If price spikes 100 points, I'm totally screwed. That's why I'm saying like when I try to get into these entries, I try to get in like as far as a pullback as I can like at the 100 because so for example if you wanted to enter right here for this MPS I mean yeah it would hit your target but if you didn't get out at that point you would have gotten stopped out but if you would have waited to get your entry a little higher like say the 900 right here or not even the 900 even higher like 950 maybe so you'd get in like a perfect setup with like barely any drawdown but yeah if you got in a little lower say around the 100 mark right there might have survived it might have gotten stopped out. All right, so there's no confluences here. Again, price is still kind of sitting below the structure. I'm gonna step away for 1 second, grab some water, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll be back in a second. All right, guys, I'm back. So looking at this so far, there's no reversal patterns. Again, I'm looking for like a low with a green candle. So I'm looking for like a lower low or a higher low or whatever it may be. I'm looking for a low with a green candle, and then I'm looking for a V1 variation or engulfing, whatever it may be, back to the upside. um, to push up higher, right? So for example, right here, we have a lower low, no green candle, but we do have a V1 variation engulfing right here. So this could be a possible swing back up into the range or consolidation area. Let me take a look at the lower time frames right here. Everything is still very bearish. So the 1 minute's bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish. You can see prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. Looking over here on the higher time frame, same thing. 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. As you can see, price is overextended. So I'm basically just waiting for price to swing back up. Might happen, might not happen. I mean, who knows? I'll just keep following this with the algo to kind of see what it see what it looks like, if we do get a reversal at some point here. So I'm trying to see the like how often the reversals typically happen on this point. I probably need to go on a bigger scale too. So maybe not 30 day, maybe go on to like the year. So looking at the year, actually, this is a good reversal area. You can see it actually reverses pretty often right here. So I'm just looking at this at a bigger scale. This is if you just took the reversal every single day at 7:20 or at the close of this candle. It's 35%, 38%. I don't know how this happens. It has a 38%, but it's negative. Um, the entire history might not be as good, but let's do from a year. So this is about a year's time. I'm just looking to see just in case. So this 10 minute here actually has a lower low with the green candle. So this could be the start of a reversal to the upside. Okay, so I'm just using like a different like multi-time frame confluence here. So we have a lower low here with the green candle. This is a reversal pattern to the upside. So if this closes, this could start to set up for a reversal back to the upside. Looking over here on the 1 minute, it did exactly what I just mentioned. So I said price is probably going to reverse back up into the range, which is exactly what happened here, right? The reason why I saw that was because we had a V1 variation and engulfing right there. We had a lower low followed by a V1 variation and engulfing. These are both reversal patterns. This right here is not the best because ideally I'd like to see it with a green candle, but a lower low just in general, this is establishing a floor. And this right here is a reversal continuation right back into this range. Doesn't necessarily mean price is going to push up any higher, but it does tell us that price has reversed here back into this upper range, or not upper range, but just range in general, the middle chop. So looking over here at the clean chart, you guys can see price basically faked out, right? Faked out right there, and it pulled right back into the original range that it was sitting in earlier. So no surprise there. We will continue to watch here as price pushes up higher. It's 7:14 right now, so I'll be looking for a possible 10-minute buy signal to come up. I don't know if we'll get it anytime soon, but if we do get it anytime soon, my entry will probably happen, I mean, right here, probably around the 800 mark. We'll see. We'll see. I don't really need all those lines. I'll probably just draw like my own lines. Yeah, because the levels lines make it kind of messy. Or I could probably minimize it a little bit. So instead of 10 lines, I'll just do like 4 lines. Or even just 2 lines. It's just I don't want to have too much junk on my chart. Okay, we got price might start to flip up. We're starting to get some buy signals over here on the 5 minute for ES and 5 minute on YM. Let's take a look at the other indexes. So everything is pretty bearish right now. YM is bearish, ES is bearish, NQ is bearish, gold is bearish. Everything is literally bearish. NQ is not going anywhere. Extreme chop. NQ is actually looks like the worst asset right now. And NQ and ES, or I mean, they're all kind of the same, but NQ is so volatile that you're gonna get wicked out either way or buys or sells. Yeah, NQ is pretty nasty right now. Looking at that, does not look good. So for those of you who are trading NQ, good luck because it looks like you get spiked out either way here. This is a clear example why I don't like trading NQ. Like I'm okay with the YM chop. This chop's all right because we can kind of read it, but the NQ chop, I mean, this thing's. Let me check the range real quick. It's kind of curious to see. Damn, it's like a 300 point range of just straight chop. Yeah, over the past couple of months, I tried to shift over to different assets because YM was just not giving us the trade opportunities that we needed. But I realized that it doesn't really make a difference. A lot of times the markets are just all going to be choppy in a sense. So like stick to what you're good at, right? And I'm good at YM, so I'm going to stick to YM for now. Super, super choppy right there. Price is still dropping, so it's not looking like we're gonna get that buy signal. Like I said, I don't think we're gonna get a buy signal in the 10 minute until we get like up here. Right. So again, right here, we don't have anything. There's no reversal patterns. Again, same pattern that we just talked about earlier. So we have a high here at this. Ideally, you want this with a red candle followed by an engulfing V1. But you guys can see the pattern right there, right? If you have a ceiling like a top and then you have it engulfing or V1 after it, it's typically going to drop at least a little bit. Same with this right here. We had a lower low with the V1 variation engulfing. This is enough to cash like 10 points. If you guys remember, I used to trade these strategies where I just shoot for 10 points. They're like base hits for me. They you can still apply those strategies here. It's just you have to be very, very conservative with your entry. You have to be very fast and you have to be paying attention. You can't be second guessing your trade. Like if you see the lower low and you see the V1 variation engulfing, you got to be ready to just jump in. Same with this one right here, right? If you're not ready to jump in, you're gonna miss the trade, and it's got to be a market order. All right, nothing going on here. Back to our clean chart. You guys can see price is really respecting this upper range right here. It might establish a lower range here eventually, but right now we just don't have anything. I'm looking for price to push back up. So essentially for this daily entry, we're looking to buy the dip in a sense. Um, we're getting closer to the 700 mark right here. So like basically if I get what I'd like to see here, so let me just, this is a really easy way to simplify the strategy. So like basically what I'm looking for is for a buy signal to come up. If we get a buy signal right here, I'm going to look for it to push up a little bit, retrace back to the 800, get my entry at there, and then write it back up. Or maybe push up higher to this 900, retrace to that 900 price, and then basically just write it up. That's basically what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for a reversal here to set up and then grab liquidity right there, right there. It's a basic, in a sense, mean reversion type strategy. It's a lot of these entries are going to be against the trend in a sense. Looking from the statistics that I showed you guys earlier, the best statistics are going to be around um, between 6:30 and 8:30 for the most part. They're still good if we go till like 9. So for example, if we go to like 9 o'clock, it's not going to make a huge difference, but it's going to make a difference. So currently right here at till 8:30 has a 42.50% win ratio. If I change it a little bit, you can see it drops by 2%. So it's not like game changer where it's going to really screw up your strategy, but there's going to be, obviously it's going to be less profitable. If we go to like 9:30, and you just need above a 33% win ratio to be profitable. So right here it drops even more. And the reason why it drops more is because the volatility starts to die down as we get later into the session, right? So you typically want this to come up earlier on. So right here, this is till 10 o'clock, my original strategy. It's still pretty decent, 39%, but ideally I want the best possible probabilities. And 830 is that. So up to like 42.50%. And the thing is we're scaling with this, right? So like for example, if we start with one contract to two contracts to three contracts, four contracts, etc., um, that's where we really start to see the numbers really start to shine. So for example, here, if we're to do so like 51 times 150, that's how many points to be profit right there. So 120 minus 51 times 75, that'd be the loss. So like basically this right here minus 5175, and this is going to be within a period of 120 trades. So like under a year, basically. It's basically half a year in a sense. And then with that right there, if you were to do it, and like I said, you're going to scale with contract sizes. So like if you were to start with like four contracts, which is what I'm doing with my personal account, 2,475. So basically 40,000, 49,000, 50,000 profitability right there. And then if you were to increase your size to like eventually, like the way I do it is I do it week by week or month by month. I'll increase it by like one contract size. If I get up to like 10 contracts, see the, or sorry, that's not right. 10 times 5 times 2,475. It multiplies, right? And then you just keep scaling and scaling and scaling. So like what I would like to say is, so if I scale by like one contract for the month, so basically start at four, 4 plus 12, I'd be about like 16 contracts by the end of the year. So 16 times 5 times 2, 4, 7, 5, it adds up pretty quickly, right? So you have to scale with your accounts, guys. That's one thing that you guys have to understand as well. I mean, maybe a lot of you guys are not at that level yet, but you have to scale. Like you can't be using one contract forever, right? Once you build up your account, and I'm talking about like real money accounts, like live accounts, not prop accounts, because you can't really scale on a prop account because you're still going to be limited by like whatever your trailing drawdown is. But with a live account, you don't have a trailing drawdown. I was just talking to somebody about that yesterday. So there's a person that I haven't talked to in a while, and he was asking me like, how do you scale with the prop account? And the real thing is you can't scale with the prop account because you're always going to have that trailing drawdown, right? Um, like if you have excess profits, you can scale, but then once you make a payout with request or withdrawal, you're going to go back to your trailing drawdown. So in a sense like that, you can't really scale. With a live account or a personal account, you can scale because you don't have those rules. You know, you don't have a consistency rule, you don't have a trailing drawdown, you don't have a lot of things that these prop firms kind of prevent you from doing. So, you know, I remind you guys this almost every day with the prop accounts, guys, use that as a vehicle to make money, right? Just use that to generate money. So your goal in trading is not to use prop accounts as like your main thing. So like this is like the trading profit cycle. Make profits from prop firms, and then obviously transfer profits to personal live account. So make profits on prop firms, use same risk management, or I mean, like for me, I use the same, yeah, anyways, use same risk management, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Because I don't change my contract sizes on the prop account, transfer profits to personal live account, and then yeah, scale contract size risk on live. So that's basically what I do. Like, so I'll make profits from these prop firms. I use the same contracts. I never change my contract size because I have it set to where I'll basically never blow the account, but I can make, you know, a certain amount of profits from it. It's going to be sometimes more, sometimes less. So like on a 50K account, I'm using, I think, let me see. I'm using two contracts. So it's very small, two contracts. And I'll show you guys the math on that. So two times five times 150. So every time on my 50K account, if I win a trade, I'm making 1,500, right? So if you do that right there, you do that times 20, it adds up pretty decently, right? That's just one trade. And I don't change my contract size. I keep it at two contracts. I don't scale. This makes it impossible, like basically impossible for me to blow the account because so two times five times 75, my risk is 750 and your max drawdown is about 2,500, right? Divided by 750. So I have to lose 3.3 times back to back for me to blow the account, which doesn't happen very often wherever. So that's what I mean. Like I have my risk parameters set where I'm taking a fixed amount and I'm making a fixed amount of profit. Once I make this profit, I move it over to my personal account. And then from there, I scale on my personal account because there's no trailing drawdown. So on a 50K account, I'm using about two contracts uh for a bigger account like Apex where I have a 300K, I think. I use seven contracts, which is a lot more riskier. So seven times five times 150. That's how much profit I'm looking to make on there. Because like I said, these are like with these prop firms, like if I blow the account, it's fine. I'll just buy another account. Um, that's why the scaling doesn't really like it doesn't really matter as much there, but it does matter for your live account where you can scale and you won't be like the account can't get taken away from you. And on there, I'm using smaller sizes. So I'm using only four contracts right now. And then once I make a certain amount, like I think where am I at right now on that? I'm taking very low risk. So I have about, let's see, this is my personal account. I have about 73,000 in there. Once I reach like 80,000, then I'll increase it by like one size. And I reach 90,000, I increase it by one size. I reach 100,000, I increase it by one size. I just like increase size there very slowly. So it just compounds the account over time. Like right now, it's just four contracts. With four contracts, the risk isn't like super crazy, but it's like also not. And this is like real money. It's not a prop account. So four times five times 150. Every time I win, I'm making about like 3,000, maybe more if I move my target a little higher. And every time I lose, I'm only risking 1,500. So yeah. So like in order for me to reach that 8,000 mark, I need to have a couple more wins. Yeah, like three wins or so. And then once I have those three wins, then I'll increase it another size and then I'll be making more over time. But yeah, that's kind of what I do with my prop accounts. I don't really care about the prop accounts too much because, we talked about this yesterday. If you get banned by a prop account, by a prop company, then you're screwed for the most part. At that point, it's like, all right, just move over to a new prop company or get unbanned somehow. Yeah, Daniel said it's dropped 1,200 points already. Yeah, it's dropped pretty heavily, guys. I mean, if we map it from up here, this is dumped super far down. It's pretty far down right now. It's down. Well, I mean, this is just from today, basically. It's dropped even higher actually. So if you look even higher over here, this thing has been dumping. Geez, it's even farther, Daniel, actually. So I'm looking over here. It's actually 1,400 points. If we measure from March 2nd, from Monday, that wasn't even that long ago, March 2nd, yesterday. And if you measure even farther, like you want to go back to like where it started dropping from way up here, it's dropped down over 2,000. It's dropped down extremely far. Um, Yeah, it's dropped down quite a bit. I mean, it doesn't make a difference for us because we're only going for 150 points. But yeah, this thing is, like I said, the target, I talked about this earlier this morning, right? I said the target area for price to reach is going to be closer to like 47,000. I like to go off the 1,000 numbers or the 1,000 whole numbers. So this is kind of the target if it keeps dropping further before it comes back up. So that, I mean, there's nothing here right now. Price here is still dropping. There's a couple MPS patterns which came up over here. I mean, price did break past the structure right here. So if you wanted to take an MPS pattern from right here, we had a red candle right here, retracement and continuation. So this would have been an MPS to the downside. This actually would have stopped out. This again, this is the reason why I don't like trading on the one right now because it's so choppy. Here, I'll draw some structure here as well. So I'm not going to draw this structure, but I'll draw this structure right here. I don't think this will hold, but it's drawing the structure there anyways. We still don't have a 10-minute momentum yet. Let's go back over here. All right, so I'll just keep moving this down further to see what the numbers are looking like. So that lower low with the green candle is no longer there. It's now a lower low with the red candle. Let's see, iPhone is asking, how can we trade the reversal instead of the trend, or are the probabilities higher? Um, we're not really trading the reversal, we're just trading the momentum. iPhone. I mean, you could trade with the trend. I mean, sometimes it'll come with the trend, but we're not really, the trend doesn't matter as much on the lower time frames. So we don't care about the trend. We're trading based off what pullback are you talking about, iPhone? Are you talking about the entry for the daily? Because it's not a pullback strategy or it's not a reversal strategy either. We're riding momentum because momentum goes up, momentum comes down. So we're not really looking for a specific reversal or trend or anything. Really, it's just based off momentum, right? Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about something else? Because I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, because I'm going between the 1 minute and the 10 minute. I'm not sure if you're talking about this, or are you talking about this, or are you talking about anything else? Because I've been kind of going from topic to topic. So I'll wait for you to be a little more specific and then I'll kind of respond to you. But for the most part, if you're talking about the daily entry, yeah, iPhone said yes. The entry for the daily, if you're looking for a buy in a bearish market, would that be a pullback reversal? Not necessarily a pullback reversal. I mean, we're just looking for momentum to push because the thing is when momentum pushes, so momentum can only go one way, right? So it doesn't really need to be a reversal. It's just price is pushing that direction. So like for example, we have a momentum down here right now, right? It doesn't, if I was to take all the stuff off, it wouldn't matter. Let me go over here to this chart. So this is just momentum. This is the entry from yesterday, right? So we're not really looking for reversals or trends. We're just looking for momentum to push in a certain direction. So let's go over here to like previous entries. So right here, for example, yeah, if you wanted to look at the trend, yeah, price is pushing up, but let me put the pivots up over here. And you guys can see that it doesn't really matter, like in a sense right here. Yeah, price is gonna go with the trend, but this isn't during market hours, right? But if you look during the actual entry, so this right here is against momentum, but the trend was already shifting. If you go over here, I mean, you could go at all the entries. The trend it doesn't really matter in a sense. If you're trading on the higher time frames, yeah, it would matter, but it's not really a pullback entry. We're basically just following momentum wherever the momentum is going. So like for example, over here, this was with momentum, right? But the trend didn't really confirm until after. So like, yeah, the trend did follow. There's like, so there's different things that you could follow. There's momentum where price can be going in a direction and the trend could follow the momentum, or the trend could be moving in a direction and the momentum can follow it, right? So like, well, there's always going to be one part that's going to be laggy. It's either going to be the trend that's laggy or the momentum that's laggy. Like for example, over here, the trend was bullish, but just because it was bullish doesn't mean price is going up, right? Price can just flow either direction. Does that make sense, iPhone? That's what I'm trying to get across. I'm just trying to say that like the trend doesn't really matter in a sense because the strategy we're applying, we're just going with the flow of momentum. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a reversal or a pullback because we're not looking for that. We're just looking to ride the wave in a sense. So like look over here. So we have a buy signal, but the trend was bearish, right? So if you're to incorporate that and you're just like, oh, I'm going to go only with bearish entries, you would miss this entire move to the upside. And this isn't a pullback or reversal. We're just catching the lower end of it. Yeah. So just try to keep things. So the thing with the strategy is like we're trying to keep it as simple as possible, right? We're not trying to have too many factors in play. Yes, you can probably incorporate the trend, but if you were to incorporate the trend, you just wouldn't have any entries because a lot of the times the trend's already established before we get to market open, right? That's why if you want to use the trend, I would use the lower time frames. But on the higher time frames, like if you use the trend for it, you're just never going to have any entries. Like for example, there's an entry right here. There would have been entry that still would have lost. This over here, you would have an entry. It still would have lost even if you're going with the trend. This over here was going against the trend, but it won. This over here was going with the trend or in the middle and it lost. So you can see here, there's just no correlation. Like you can either go with the trend or you can just go with just momentum. But yeah, we're basically just we're simplifying it as much as possible to the point where we don't use any of those extra factors unless it's super necessary. Okay, so looking at this so far, again, there's nothing going on. We're still like within this chop. I think I'm gonna cut off my entry around 8:30, so I'll probably hang out with you guys for a bit closer to 8:30. Um, yeah, I mean, this just might be one of those days where there's nothing that comes up. Otherwise, if we do get a reversal to the upside, we may start to see a setup coming up. I just don't see it here yet. We're starting to get a big green candle right here though. So with this being the case, if this pushes up higher, we have about 4 minutes left on this 10-minute candle. We may get a buy signal right here. So looking at this right here, we have a lower low with the red candle. This isn't a perfect reversal or an ideal reversal, but we do have an engulfing right there. So what I would like to see is for price to push up, establish another low with the green candle, and then push up higher. And again, we still have areas over here for price to reach, whether it be to the sessions, to the opening price, or to the upper level liquidity over here. Liquidity slash resistance. Still no buy signal yet. So we got 2 minutes left on this candle. Again, if we have entry here, I'll be looking for price to pull back to the nearest 100 or the 50, depending on where the candle closes. Let's see. Fire Learner is asking, what margin would you recommend to scale up to 2 contracts? Um, I mean, it just kind of depends on like how much risk you're looking to take, right? If you want to do the very bare minimum, like yeah, if you want to do the very, very bare, like you want to push your limits, then you do it like 10,000. That's because you basically need about like 5,000 per contract. Um, and that's like close to margin call. Like if you go into the negative, like if you're trading below 10,000 and using 2 contracts, you might get margin called if it goes too low. You probably won't, but you might. I mean, depends on your broker. Ideally, you want to have like, I'd probably say 10,000 per contract or somewhere around there. Again, it just kind of depends on your broker and your risk appetite. Like for me, for example, I have a big account, but I'm still using smaller. Well, I mean, it's not a big account. It's considered like to me, I consider this a small account. I'm just have like money in here just kind of to play around with basically. So I started with like 50K, I think, last month, and then it built up to like this much, or I think in January. I don't remember when, but I just whenever I opened my StoneX account, I started with like 50K, and then I kind of just built up from there. So. Obviously you'd want to have more. You don't want to trade at the bare minimum because you don't want to have any possibility of getting margin called. So I probably would say like, and the thing is with my moves, these are bigger moves, right? If you're trading for like maybe a 60-point move or a 10-point move or something really tight, then you can go in with something smaller. But if you're trading a 150 target with a 75 stop loss, this is pretty big, right? So you need to have enough to withstand the pullback or whatever if it hits your stop or anything like that. So like for example, you're doing 2 contracts, 2 times 5 times 75, you're gonna risk 750, right? So 750 and you're on a $10,000 account. Your risk is 7.5%. That's a pretty big risk, right? That's what I'm saying. Like it just depends on like your risk appetite. If you want a $20,000 account, so this is where things kind of change a little bit. And this is why I'm just saying like 20,000 is probably going to be a better number. You're going to be risking 3.7%. So it makes more sense, right? So yeah, for like if it was for me, if you're asking me specifically, I would go higher risk because if I lose money, I could just put more money into the account, right? But for if this is your last 10K or last 20K, do not go over leverage on it. Like for me right now, I have only 70,000 in this account, but I can drop another 100,000 in this account if I needed to. Like if I get margin called or I get close to margin called out, I'll just deposit more money. But if you're trading with like the only money you can trade with, you want to use proper risk. That's why for me, you'll see I'm using 4 contracts and I mean, whatever. If I get margin call, I'll just deposit more money. The broker would just tell me like, hey, Sean, you got to deposit another 10K, 20K, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'll just top off the account. Because I'd rather just have less money in there, but trade the same amount of risk as if I had, 100K in there or whatever it may be. All right, we have a pending buy signal right here, guys. This could start to set up for a possible entry. It is 7:40 right now, so let me go ahead and just update this a little bit. All right, 740 right here. This trade will typically run, it has about a 34% win ratio for about a year's time. Let me see how long this trade usually lasts for. It lasts about 13 minutes for both bot for wins and losses, 16 minutes for wins, 11 minutes for losses. Okay, so I just have a general idea of like how long I'm probably gonna have to hold on to this position if I get into it. This is mainly what I was looking for. Just want to know, like, okay, if I'm gonna hold on to this, how long do I need to hold on to it for? Looks like about 13 minutes on average. Joe's asking, do you copy trade? Yes, I do. Copy trade all my accounts. What size do you use? 50K. So for some prop firms, I'm using 50K. Some prop firms, I'm using 100. Whatever their max is. For Apex, I'm using 300. It just depends on like what they provide for and what they allow for. I actually have a double set of accounts with Apex. I'm not supposed to have that, but I do have that. We talked about how I did that in the past, and they're still okay. So I have a 50K and I have 300K. And then on Tradeify, I think I have 150K because that's their biggest size. And then on Perdia, on my live account, I have 100K because that's their max as well. I'm basically maxed out on these prop firms. I'm probably gonna open another one or yeah, and just copy that as well. Maybe Lucid, maybe I don't know. Lucid's like the popular one right now, so I might just use them because that's what people are using. And then just get like I guess free money from those prop firms as well because I'm just copying the trades. Basically, I'm gonna look for ones that have end of day drawdown. I don't really want to have ones with the trailing because it could really screw with my position since it's so big. Yeah, Nikki said Lucid is cheap too. Yeah, I might try Lucid out next. I'm pretty much capped out with the ones that I'm currently using. I use Apex, I use Tradeify, and I use Perdia. The one that I like the most is Apex because you can make the most money, but they have the most rules, so you have to trade properly, like trade within the parameters. All of my strategies fit within the parameters, so I'm fine with Apex. A lot of people don't like Apex because their trading strategies don't fall within the parameters, right? They always trigger the MA rule, they trigger the consistency rule, they trade the contract size rule. And again, that's another thing too. Like I use the same contract size for all my trades. That's why I never get flagged. Some people they'll use like micros, they'll use minis. You can't go between micros and minis because it's gonna flag your account in Apex. Like you can't go from using like one mini and then going down to like 10 micros because then it's gonna flag that the consistency is going to be off with your contract sizing, and that's one of their rules. So for me personally, I like Apex. I mean, I might be biased, but Apex has been it's been good because you can make the most money with like the less amount of risk. The accounts are so cheap, but they do have the most rules. So if your strategy doesn't meet the criteria, then you just can't really use Apex. But if I was to have a choice, I would choose Apex first. And if you want to use my code, so Apex is currently 90% off right now. I'm one of their affiliates. Like, so I became one of their affiliates this year. They ranked me as like one of their top 200 traders. If you guys saw, I'm on the Apex page. If you guys saw their video, so they used my video. I had an interview with Apex with their executives, and they asked me questions, and they recorded a couple of videos, some promos with me as well. I didn't realize they recorded me for some promos, but they did keep asking me to do specific promos with them. But yeah, if you want to use Apex, you can use this code. It's currently 90% off right now, off their new accounts. It's only lasting for a couple of days too. So if you guys want to use that, feel free to use it. Oops, it says trader file there. But yeah, if you guys want to buy the new Apex accounts, they're pretty cheap. The new rules are different, so just keep that in mind. All right, we have the pending buy signal right now. Let me see if I can pull up the Apex website while we have like 4 minutes until then. So here's the Apex website. If you use that code that I used you, it's going to give you the best possible deal going on right now. I wouldn't use the code that Apex gives you because it doesn't always give you the best deal. It gives you whatever. Obviously, they make more money if they charge you more, so they're going to not give you the best deal. But yeah, the accounts are available right here. The cool thing, if I was to restart right now, I can't buy any accounts because I'm already maxed out with them. But if I was to restart, I would do end of day trail with trade of 8 and 150K. It's uh it's 90% off this right now. It normally costs 300, but it's 90% off. So if that's something you guys are interested in, check it out. If you guys are not, that's perfectly fine. I've been using Apex for years now. They're good, and yeah, I'm gonna keep using them. All the people that complain about Apex, it's because, and the thing is, they're always like, it's always the people who are like trying to violate the rules or trying to game the system. I've been using Apex for years now, haven't had any issues. I did get denied payouts at some point in the past. It happens, right? Even if you're an affiliate or even if you're one of their top traders. What they did, so over the past year, they pretty much got us together, the top 200 traders within Apex, and they pretty much did interviews with us to kind of see like what our strategies are, how we were able to be successful with Apex and stuff like that. And like from talking to other people, we all have the same opinion on Apex. It's like if you follow the rules, you're good, but if you don't follow the rules, you're going to be punished. So, and it goes the same with like all other prop firms too, not just Apex, but Tradeify and every other prop firm. You just got to follow the rules. The rules suck, but I mean, if you follow the rules, you'll be fine. All right, guys, the pending signal here, I don't think it's going to come back up. We have 2 minutes left on it. I'm looking over here on the 1 minute. In order for us to get that entry or that signal to come back up, it really needs to close above like this area right here. And it's kind of sitting right here, so I'm not expecting this here to actually close. We got about a minute 50 left, so unless we get like a big bullish push right here in the last minute or so, we're probably not going to get the setup. But if we do get the setup, my entry is probably going to happen somewhere around the 800 mark right here. It's got to push up like pretty far up though, like way up here. If it closes and it provides opportunity for the signal right here, I'm probably going to get down to even lower at like 750. But just looking at it so far, this does not look like we're going to get that buy signal. It'd have to close somewhere above here. We still have a minute, so I mean, this thing could spike up 100 points in a minute. We really don't know. Let's see. Kenny said he's been writing it since 706. Nice. So he's been writing this down right here from 706. Hopefully, he got out for some profit, or I mean, hopefully, it keeps dropping further back down. Basically, looks like a break and retest off the structure, so it may come down further. Kenny said if you're taking a long from here, your target is above the most recent high, then reverse. I wish YouTube had timestamps because I'm not sure when you said that, Kenny, but yeah, I agree with you. I'm sure you mentioned it like somewhere around this area when price was down here. Let's see. Nice. Drew said he just passed his Lucid take. Congrats. Yeah, nice. I've heard a lot of good things Lucid, so I think I'm gonna give him a shot. I prefer to do the straight to funded account, so I'm not sure if they have a straight to funded, but if they do, I'll probably just sign up for those. I don't like doing evals. They take too long. Or they kind of force you to trade differently, and I don't like that. All right, we have another pending buy signal right here. So I'm gonna just shift this over a little bit, 50. All right, I don't know if we're gonna get an entry. Just gotta keep waiting here. Looks like price is still sitting within the chop. So I drew up this structure a while back. Let me just move this over real quick. So there's basically two levels of chop here now. There's like this mid level, and then there's this lower level right here. I don't even know where I want to draw it. So we have this big range, basically. We have this big range, and then we have smaller ranges within it. So this is the big one. But then you got this range right here. You got this lower range right here. Yeah, not much. Rev said, let's see. Rev said my biggest thing with the new Apex accounts is a limit to 6 payouts and then they close a P. I don't think that's the case, Rev. We talked about this yesterday. It wouldn't make sense for them to kick you out after getting 6 payouts, right? I think people are misinterpreting what they mean by that. I'm pretty sure they're moving you to a live account. That just doesn't make any sense, right? Imagine how many people are going to complain after six payouts and getting kicked out. It just doesn't make sense. At that point, they're going to call Apex a fraud. You know, it's like it's a fraudulent company at that point. Um, so yeah, I don't think that's the case, guys. I don't know why people think that's I know that's what it sounds like when you read it, but it just doesn't like it doesn't make sense for them to kick you out after six payouts. Revs have moved to live account is selective, and they say that it's coming. It's not selective. They're going to move you to live account no matter what. That you can't. You're not going to have a choice. Like with Perdia, when I got funded on Perdia and I requested my first payout, they moved me to a live account. Like I didn't have a choice. They weren't like, "Oh, you can keep trading this sim funded account." They're like, "You're live now, bro. That's it. You're live." Like in order for me to take that payout, I had to go live. So Apex isn't the first company to move people to live, right? I feel like a lot of people who are complaining about that or like don't understand it, they haven't gotten to that point, right? You haven't been successful enough with Apex to move you to a live account. Because I've been on a live account for a long time, guys. A live account isn't it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a bad thing if you're a churn and burn person. Like if you're a person to like pass an account, get funded, get payouts, and then move to a live account, and then blow that account, then it's not obviously you didn't have a strategy that was consistent, right? But for me, I'm like very consistent over time. So like I trade an actual live account. So when I get moved to a live account on Apex or whatever it may be, it doesn't change the way I trade. I still trade the same exact way. So um, I think you guys have to like take that into consideration. Like if you guys haven't gotten a live account with a lot of these companies, it's because like you just haven't shown the consistency. If you've been consistently not blowing accounts and you've just been consistent going over and over, because what I'm understanding is that with these live accounts, these are the accounts that they're actually copying. Right, because when I went to a live account with Perdia, you have to sign a contract. Let me see if I have the contract here. When I had a live account with, I don't know if I still have the contract here. They basically like what I'm doing now with the hedge fund. That's basically what they're doing. They make you sign this agreement with NinjaTrader that says that they can copy your account basically. So when they move you to a live account, they move you there because you've shown consistency and that you can keep it in account. You're not going to blow it the next day or the next week. So they start copying your account. So I feel like you just need to get to that point where you've gotten to a live account and you'll see that nothing's different. I feel like everyone's freaking out about live accounts, but they've never had a live account to begin with. So they don't, not a regular live account, but they've never had a live account with a prop firm that they think, oh, it's the end of the world. I'm in a live account. Bro, nothing changes. You're in the same account. You're just not trading like for example, with Apex, if you're on a sim funded, you're on like a 300K account, right? When you move to a live account, you're set with whatever money you had. And this is what I've been trying to tell people for the longest time, right? When you have a 300K account, guys, you don't have a 300K account. That's not what it is. You really have a $7,500 account because that's what your trailing drawdown is, right? Like Apex here, I mean, they're not going to show anymore. But like, for example, if you buy a 150K account, you don't have 150K, guys. Like, I don't know why a lot of people think because you buy a 150K account, you have 150K. You only have 4,000. This is really just a $4,000 account because that's your max drawdown. That's all you can lose, right? So realistically, this isn't a 150K account. This is a $4,000 account with leverage. But the thing is, you're paying 300 bucks to have 4,000 buying power. That's a pretty big deal, right? That's a good deal. Yeah, you have to follow these dumb rules, but this is what happens. When they move you to a live account, guys, your account's not going to say 150 anymore. It's going to say 4,000 because that's how much the account's actually worth. Um, and I think once you guys understand that, you'll be able to like realize that it's nothing different. Because if you're on a 150K account, if you lose 4,000, you blow the account. If you're on a live account, you lose 4,000, you still blow the account, right? Doesn't make a difference. So yeah, I wish there was a way for me to well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys understand now. Let me see. So funded account 300K, really only 7,500. So sim funded shows you have um 300K balance, but can only lose 7,500 or excess profits, right? If you guys have been funded for a while, like for example, if you're funded with a 300K account, once you reach the threshold, like of whatever you're at, then you can only lose that much. If you lose that amount, you blow the account, right? On a live account, shows you have 7,500 plus excess profits. So basically, with the live account, if you lose the 7,500 plus the excess profits, you blow the account, right? Same with the sim funded. You can't lose 300K. You can only lose 7,500 or the excess profits. And I think this is like the thing that kind of trips people out, and they're like, "Oh, I don't have 300K anymore." Bro, you never had 300K to begin with. You only had 7,500. So the numbers are different, but it doesn't really make a big difference as to like, and the thing is with the live account, there's no more rules, right? Well, I mean, I don't know if that's the case with Apex, but with Perdia, I don't have any rules anymore. Like it's like a legit live funded account. But that's why I'm saying like for this, I don't care very much because I have more money in my actual account. I have more money in my actual account than I do in the prop account. So it doesn't really matter to me if I blow the account because I'm still making more per trade on my like I make about like 5,000 or close to it per win. So I'm basically making as much as I would have on this one, but on the live account. So hopefully that helps. It's just I feel like there's a lot of confusion with the live accounts, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that the live accounts are there. Anyways, we have a pending buy signal right here, guys. I'm gonna wait for it to close, and then if it closes, I'm gonna try to get in somewhere around like I'd say around the 800. I mean that buy signal has to close though. All right, we got about a minute 20. A minute 20, I'm gonna try to get in right here on the 800. Okay, so let's see what we got over here. We got about 40 seconds left on this right here. I'm gonna try to get in on 800. So 47, 800. What my limit order is going to be. All right, wait for it to close. Okay, so 47, 800.
Order submitted. Or
All right, we'll see if we get a fill here.
order submitted.
And I hate Perdia. I don't know why they do this. It's super annoying. The one thing I don't like about Perdia is like when the new month starts, you have to activate your data. And I haven't traded this month yet, so I have to go and activate my data, and I can't trade. Again, error. Where is my... Dude, it's always hard to figure out what the fuck. They always update the website. Okay, subscriptions. What the fuck? Market data. It says active. What the hell? Okay, I don't know. Let me cancel this first, and then put it back up. Okay. All right, cool. Now just wait. If I don't get a fill within the next like 30 minutes to an hour, I'm just gonna cancel it. Or 30 minutes actually, yeah. Because my cutoff is 8:30. So wait for it to pull back. If it doesn't pull back for fill, then or if it hits my target before it hits the fill,
Order submitted.
then I'm gonna cancel it. So basically what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to pull back a little bit, fill my order, and then push back up. Which is fine. I mean, that could be the case right here. I'm looking at so my setup right here. Yeah, I mean it looks like it could pull back a little, maybe pull back into the range, swing back up. So no rush. Got my order sitting right there. 47,800. Yeah, T said he likes live. Yeah, me too. Prefer live. Let's see. Rev said, since you have access to them, can you get confirmation that they turn it into live? Yeah, no, I'll ask them. I mean, I think they mentioned it during their overview with the other affiliates, but I didn't sit in for it, so I didn't get a chance to actually to see, but I'll ask them directly. But I'm pretty sure that's the case, guys. It would make literally zero sense for them to close your account. I mean, just using common sense, right? There's no like it just wouldn't make sense. That's kind of like I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example, but yeah, for me personally, in my mind, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, iPhone City, I don't think they automatically close the account. Plus 90%, they'll never see six payouts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's what iPhone mentioned as well. For the most part, people don't ever make it that far, right? I think the number is even bigger than 90% iPhone. I think there's a study on that on like prop firms. And they actually mentioned that as well when they came out with the new accounts. They have these rules in place because they're meant to weed out uh, basically the gamblers and the people who are not consistent, right? Because majority of the people are not going to. I think there's like maybe 90% of people who pass evals, and then there's like 90 something percent of people, or 90% of people won't pass evals, and then like 95% of people won't ever get a payout. And then there's like 99% of people who will like never have like multiple payouts. It's a crazy statistic, but it's so true because there's so many rules with these prop firms that it makes it almost impossible to stay consistent. And the thing is, when you trade with these prop firms, you have to trade a certain way, right? I mean, we've talked about this in the past. You have to trade very specific to to be able to like to not get caught with the trailing drawdowns in a sense. Ah, fuck me. Looks like the trade is pulling away without us, guys. It already hit target. I gotta cancel it. Um, yeah, unfortunately, I did not get a fill there. So if I had my fill a little closer, it would have gotten filled, but unfortunately, there's no entry there. So I missed the trade right there, guys. That was the trade right there. If you guys caught that. So I'm canceling mine right now.
Order canceled.
All right, cancel my order. It already hit target. So my initial t entry point would have been like right here. So we're not right here. So it was at 8:58 where it closed. I basically would have had my entry around like maybe 40, maybe 30. It was just my entry was a little too far behind. So if I got in around 30, it would have, I mean, it still would have hit target already by now. I was just worried it was going to pull back further. So this is the 30. If you got in from the 30, it's still pushing to that 150 right now. If you got in at the 20, so initially what I did was I used to go like 20 points prior to like where the candle closed. That's where I wanted to pull back to. So it closed right here at 7 or at 857. And basically going back like 20 points, it would have been filled either at the 40 right here or at the 30. I was getting in at the 100 because what I've seen from my data and just looking at the testing over here from a siege from his back testing script, the probabilities were a lot higher. The problem with this though is that the probabilities will be higher, but the main issue is that you're going to, and let's just see what the numbers were over here. You're going to miss some trades. So we went from 120 trades with a 42% probability to same amount of trades, but lower probability. But you can see over here, if we went in from that original strategy setup, the entry would have filled right there at the 840 and it would have pushed up to target. But it's all good. I mean, I'd rather have a higher probability because the probabilities are, it's substantially different. You'd have 47 wins over here with the same amount of trades, um, versus 51 wins, right? It's quite a difference. So I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing with the 100. I mean the numbers here do work a lot better. A lot of times you're gonna get a retracement that's pretty strong. I think this is what happened like a couple days ago. If you guys remember the entry on Friday, so on Friday over here, this entry lost, right? If you got in too close. So right here, if you got in at 30, it would have stopped you out. But if you would have gotten in lower at the 100 mark, it would have hit your target, right? So for me, I'd rather be safer and have a lower entry point versus a higher one because it can make it mean the difference of like winning or losing a trade, of course. So like again, for example, this here, if you got in at the 900, you would have hit your target. If you got in at the, I don't know where the previous one was. If you got in over here at the 30, you would have lost the trade. So it's all good. I think some of you guys here caught it. If you guys did, great. If you guys didn't, it's perfectly fine. I canceled my order right there. It did pretty much what we expected, right? This is what we were waiting for. I said we were going to wait for the dip. I was waiting for price to push above here, pull back, fill my order, and then push up to the opening price or the sessions or the opening price. We have two targets here, session or opening price right there. So yeah, I mean, it's all good. It is what it is. I'm glad the trade hit though, so that's a good sign. I'm going to keep putting that in the statistics, of course. Yeah, I'll put it in the statistics, and then we'll kind of see how it looks like moving forward. But great trade right there. I mean, I wish I would have gotten into it, or I would have gotten filled, but unfortunately, my fill was like a little bit lower. It wasn't even that far much lower. It was like right here. So I tried to get in at the 800. It just didn't pull back this far. I missed the fill by how many points? Like 20 points. Oh God. Yeah, 20 points. It's all good. Let me check the chat real quick. Hey, what's up, CJ? Yeah, CJ said he's late, but caught the daily in time. Nice work on that right there. Oh man, nice work. Nikki caught it at 30, which is the original entry that we talked about. Nice work, Nikki. CJ got in at 8:31, hit his TP as well. Yeah, Rev said that was a crazy push. Thanks, Sean. Trading has been vastly improved hanging out with y'all. Yeah, definitely, Rev. This again, this is why I like the strategy, guys. We use limit orders now, so we don't have to really worry about getting proper entry. The problem with like, yeah, I could have gotten in for a market order, but the problem with that is that sometimes price will retrace back super hard. Like for example, here, if we got in exactly at the candle close, this thing would have drawn down pretty heavily, right? Um, which is all good. I mean, it happens sometimes, right? Sometimes you don't get that pullback and you just get a no fill. For the so for the actual back test or the on my spreadsheet, I'm gonna keep using the old parameters because those old parameters are going to help me really understand what things need to be changed. So there's a couple of things that need to be changed. I'll put them up right here. Um, Slight changes to daily 10-minute momentum entry. So for one, cutoff entry is now set to 8:30, previously 10 a.m. And this works out better because I don't want to be on the screen for like 2 hours anyways. I'd rather just get in and out, right? So cutoff for entries is going to be 8:30, at least for now. If I need to make changes in the future, I will. But right now, this is kind of where I'm at. These are one of the more bigger changes. If opposite momentum comes or closes, exit position, previously held through. What else do I have here? This is a soft one. I need to do a little more testing. So I need to see expansion confluence. prior to entry confluence. On my data, it shows that like most of the losers are in a chop market, but the problem is that like there's winners in a chop market. I gotta get more data to show if it's really worth uh ignoring if market is in chop before the entry. What else is there? Okay, the other one is entry at previous 100 or 50, previously previous 20. There's just little changes here. Yeah, so I think those are the main changes really. Lisa, I was looking for entries until 10, but I realized that like if you go past say 30, usually the market's gonna go into chop and you're gonna get chopped out of the position anyways, even if it's a big target or it won't reach your target because you don't have enough time to reach 150 points. The next one is if the opposite momentum closes. So for example, over here, this is from Friday. Where's the trade from yesterday? Okay, so like I mean, this isn't a good example because I already stopped out. But yeah, for example, here, like on Friday, see, like how we had an opposite signal come up right here. In a situation like this, I would rather just close out for partial loss right there for like 30 points than to take the full 75 point loss. Or again, this happened to us last week too. I think it was on Wednesday. Okay, so same situation right here, right? We had a sell, we had a buy signal come up right here. If I would have just closed out for partial profit right there, I would have made some profit versus having a full loss. So that's just from my statistics and from my data, that shows that that's something that needs to be changed just to kind of protect your position long term and to minimize losses. So those are just a couple of changes that I have. Cutoff entries now at 8:30, opposite momentum. We exit expansion prior to confluence for entry. Again, looking at the setups over here. So this here was an expansion, so it wouldn't really matter. This over here, market was in chop, of course, or I could see us chopping right before the entry, so this could have been avoided. This over here was an expansion. It was coming down for the entry, so that was a good setup, hit target. This over here was a little bit of some chop. We had a green candle in between. This could have been avoided, or we could have closed out for an early profit right there. Um, this one obviously went straight to target, etc. It's just I'm going to keep pulling this data. I'm currently in August right now, so I'm going to keep pulling more data for the rest of the year, and hopefully I'll have enough information to really have to having to make a proper educated decision as to like what we should do to add filters to this specific strategy. And then last but not least, previously I'd enter at the 20, and let me show you guys some examples over here. So this one wouldn't matter because this trade lost regardless. Or no, actually this here would have won. So yesterday's trade, it was a loss. But like I said earlier, so right here the entry was at 820. If it would have gotten in, actually wouldn't make a difference for this one. But for previous ones, let me show you guys real quick. And they still would have filled too for okay, so this was an example right here. So on Friday over here, we entered at like 32. If we got in at 900, the trade would have hit before hitting stop loss. And then same with this one over here. See how it pulled back super sharply? We got in over here at 620 or 611. But if we got in at like five or wait, what was the number at? So this is what I mean about the 50 or the 100. This candle right here closed at like 592. I wouldn't get in at 600 because it's too close. I would get in at 650. So it's more of a primed entry right here. It's like basically like a sniper's type setup, right? It got exactly right there, minimal drawdown, and then it came right back down to hit target. So yeah, we're getting closer to like the 100 or the 50 mark. Same with this one over here. I think this here might have just not have been an entry actually. Yeah, so looking at this right here, this actually it looks like it might have not even have filled because it's at 30 and I wouldn't get in at the 50. I actually would get in higher at the 400. No, this is too far back. The 400 is a little too far back. I wouldn't get in that far. Probably getting at the 50 actually, which would be right there. Let me measure actually. So this entry closed right there. Our traditional entry would be at, so 30, it would be at 40. No, actually, yeah. So I'm looking at the setup now. This setup actually probably wouldn't have been filled because the entry would have been at the 400 right here. And this one over here, we get the opposite signal before, or actually would have hit target already by then. See, this is where I have to kind of like factor in a little bit if the changes have to be at the 50 or at the 100. Let me look at the entry for today. Yeah, the 50 on this was a little too close. The 100 actually made more sense. But technically, this trade would have hit at the 30. So I'll add this into the spreadsheet a little later. But yeah, we'll go from there. So let me see if there's any other questions here before we wrap this up. Damn, look at that big bullish push right there. So we reached the first target over here, the sessions. We reached the second target, which is the opening price. The last target that I mentioned for today was going to be this resistance where liquidity is sitting, and it looks like price is going to hit that point. Um, all right, let me see what else we got here. So we got a question from Ali. Ali said, "Hey Sean, I made 4K profit. It shows in the beginning, but now it shows goes back to the same amount I started with. Is that possible or an error in the system?" Um, you want to send a screenshot, Ali? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, I'm a little confused with your question. So you made 4K profit. It shows in the beginning, but now it goes back to the same amount. I mean, it sounds like it might be an error. I honestly, I don't understand what your question is. Like, what was your starting balance? And then what was your, like, what is it supposed to be? Because I'm not sure, like, if you're talking about your trailing drawdown, that might have been set at where it was. Okay, so you were at 51,200 and then you made 55,000. So you're supposed to be at 55,000, but it shows that you're still at 51,200. Is that what is the case, Ollie? What about your trade history? Does it show in your trade history that you took the trade? I mean, it might be it sounds like it might just be a glitch. Because if it shows in your trade history, then I mean it should show the difference, right? I mean, look at your trade history. Your trade history would tell you if you made profit or not. Do you know how to look at your trade history? You can pull up your trade of eight, go to your trade, like you can pull up the performance tab, and then it'll show you. Yeah, because if you took the trade, it should show there. I mean, I don't know, maybe you didn't take the trade on accident, or I don't know what happened there. Yeah, because that's the only way to really check. Like, make sure to check your trade history and then see. Yeah, in Trade So if you go to Trade you'll go to your settings, and then they'll have a performance tab there, and then you can just put whatever your trades were for today, like your statistics for the day, and then it'll show you if the trade came up there. So. It should show your trade. If it shows your trade there, then you should have made profit. If it doesn't show your trade, then I don't know if you executed the trade. Um, I mean, you said that you saw the profit. So if you saw the profit, then it should have been documented. Or maybe refresh your trade of eight. Yeah, it sounds really weird, but it sounds like a glitch on your end. I mean, it sounds like it should be fixed. Okay, yeah. So if you knew the trade was active and it was running, I think you should be good. You might want to just refresh your trading platform. I don't know where you're trading on. If you're trading on TradingView, maybe refresh that. If you're trading on Ninja, maybe log out, log back in. If you're trading on Trade you can refresh that. But it sounds like your thing might have just glitched or like, I don't know, something, a connection issue. Because I did get a disconnect when I was trying to get into the position as well. Yeah, and where are you looking, Ollie? Are you looking on the Apex website where you see the profit, or are you looking somewhere else? Because if you're looking on the Apex website, they don't update it until the next day. So if that's what you're looking at, then it's not updated until the following day. If you, it should show on Trade or wherever you executed the trade that you took the trade. Um, yeah, where are you looking, Ollie? Are you looking on your trading platform or are you looking on Apex on the Apex website? If it's on TradingView, I mean, it should show. There's a tab here, I think, as well. If you look at your trades, it'll show like your trade history. Here, let me see if I can maybe. Here, this is what I'll do. Let me log out of mine real quick. I want to show my account login. Hmm. Let me see if I can just open a demo so I can show you. All right, I'm changing the screen real quick so I could log out of my um Trader. Okay, so let me fix this screen real quick. Okay, back to my chart here. So I just logged into my paper trading account real quick to show you. It should show your order history here. So Ali, let me just show you. I'm going to take just a random trade. So take a buy right there. I'll just let it push up a little bit. My target's going to be like right there. All right, so I'm active in the position. I'm in profit, whatever. Um, so I'm in profit like 15 bucks or whatever, and then I'll let it close me out. And then once it closes me out, so I'm in profit right there. There, I hit my target. If you go over here to order history, it'll show your order history. So if you took the trade, it'll show here that you took it. Your balance history right here will show how much profit you made. I mean, this is like the easy way to see it. So yeah, if it doesn't show there, then I don't know, maybe you didn't get into the trade because it should show there. And if you don't see it, just refresh it. So hit Control R or Command R on your computer and then it'll refresh it. But yeah, it should show your trade history here. If you took the trade, it should show there. If you didn't take the trade, it wouldn't show here. But you said you saw it running, so if you saw it, I mean, it should show there. It shouldn't not show there if you did have the trade running. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Ali, I wish I could help you with that. I mean, maybe it's a glitch. I don't, it sound if you saw the profit running on your trade, then yes, it should be a glitch because it was running. But if it doesn't show here, then I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's because I see, I just did it right now. There was no problem, right? There's no glitch. You saw the entry take, and then I went to balance history, my order history. It showed all my trades right here. So it should show there if you're in the position. But yeah, hopefully you get that resolved. But all right, if there's any other questions, guys, feel free to hit me up on Discord. I got to run. Unfortunately, I did not get into the entry for today. It was a great entry, played out pretty nicely. But I'm glad that the setup was working, right? So the setup worked, went straight up, hit target, and then it did exactly what we expected for today. And it was very, so right here, this was nice. This is actually a very perfect setup right here because looking at the market regime, it was bullish and it was expansion, and then it went right into the chart, right into the entry right there. CJ, my bad. Let me see your question real quick. Okay. Yeah, let's see ours real quick. So CJ said, "Hey Sean, I was reading Apex's prohibited activities since they updated it, and was wondering if this included us trading on live together. Was asking because I know you're familiar with the owners and could provide some clarity." So let's see. Account resource and sharing MAC addresses, trade copying with others. So with the trade copying, they mean like adding me to your copier, CJ. That's usually it's usually what they mean by that. But yes, technically you're not supposed to be trading live with other people. Like, but the thing is they wouldn't know, right? That's why before they used to ask for you to show your trading, like record your trading to see if you're actually trading or not. Um, because they wouldn't really know exactly where your entry was. So this is where it might be a little bit of an issue now that we're kind of trading together with these limit orders, is that we're all going to get in at the same price, right? I think that's going to be a little bit of an issue. So I think if you guys want to be on the safer side with Apex, I would say put your limit order like maybe a point away. So don't put it exactly at 800. Like if I'm getting in at 800, put it maybe like a point away because it might flag your account if like it shows that we're all getting in at the same price. But then again, it might not because the thing is we're getting in at a whole number and that's such a common area for people to get into trades. So yeah, what it means from that thing that you sent, CJ, was copy trading, meaning like putting you on my copier and it just copies the trade. But they also do have a rule. I don't think it shows in there, but they've mentioned it before where you're not supposed to group. They call it group trading. That's what it is. It doesn't say that in what you showed me, but they did have a rule in the past where they said you couldn't be group trading with like with friends or people like getting at the same time. But the thing is, they can't really tell if you're actually group trading unless they see this live session, which this live session is private now, so they can't pull up my live session and be like, "Hey, CJ, we saw you were copying Sean's trades, bro. So like, we're gonna have to ban you," right? So my live sessions are no longer public, so people can't see them. So they can't just pull it up and be like, "Oh, these people were trading." And even if you guys were trading with me, you guys are on the Zoom, so it doesn't show your name on there. So they wouldn't know who's copying my trades or who's in the group because everything is private. So I think you should be fine, CJ. But yes, that was a rule in the past where you couldn't group trade. Um, but if you want to be on the safer side, just put it off by like 1 point. So if I'm getting in at like 800, getting in at like 801 or 80, whatever, 879. Yeah, CJ said trading with others is what put me on alert, and I know they pop in our lives. Yeah, I mean that's how they found me, right? That's how I got connected with Apex in general because they've been following my lives. They've been seeing that I've been consistent for years. But yeah, my lives aren't they're public when we're live streaming, but they're not public for like replay. So like someone can't just save the video and use it for evidence in the future. But all right, I think that's it, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, great trading day today. As you guys can see, there's a couple entries which came up. We had the breakout, we had an MPS, we had an algo entry, we had the 10-minute daily entry over here, which came up. Unfortunately, I missed it just by a few points. But it happens, you know. I was expecting this to maybe pull back a little further and then fill it and then come right back up, just like it typically does. But it just didn't happen here today, and that's fine. Um, I'd rather be on the safer side and get prime entry versus, getting in a little earlier, maybe getting pulled into drawdown a bit. Either way, I had a bit of an issue. I had to fix my Ninja account anyways with my Perdia. But okay, guys, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. Also, if you guys have props to post up, feel free to send them in the chat. Siege did mention over here, he said Monday, March 2nd, Tuesday, March 3rd, did not turn the bot on. With all that's going on, I don't think it's the best time to do anything. Most of the movements in the market are not normal, therefore, most strategies will not perform consistently. Uh, you can make a record low or a high PNL, but don't want to be on either side of that. Okay, so Masij did not run the bot today or yesterday, specifically because of what's going on in the world, which makes sense. And I agree with him. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow